Hi everyone, my name is Chad Hunter and I'm the author of Zack and the Zombie, No Bullies Please. In addition to being the author of the book, I am an East Chicago graduate. I went through Franklin Elementary, Washington Elementary, Block Junior High School, and EC Central, so go Cardinals. Welcome to the town of Romeroville, Indiana. It's a quiet place with quiet people. However, not far away from the quiet streets where dogs bark and children play, on the outskirts of town there's a crooked castle with a crooked window and a cemetery for a yard. In a crooked window of this crooked castle is a madman, a mad scientist known as Dr. Macabre. He stands in his window, yells and screams. "Yes, yes," he shouts. "Finally I have my zombie army ready. Finally I will have my revenge on Romeroville Middle School." He turned and spoke to the crowd of his creations, monsters he had spent years creating. They stood gray in the shadows as their final training began. They stared and studied a symbol of their target. Dr. Macabre grinned at his creations and his plans. "You all now know the symbol of my target. Finally The mad scientist was suddenly surprised. Someone was missing. "No, it cannot be," he shouts. His main zombie, the best and smartest of the zombies, was not where he was supposed to be. Don't you guys hate it when your zombie is missing? The mad scientist, Dr. Macabre, angry and looking all over the castle, is unaware that the zombie he is looking for has escaped. The best of his creations waits outside the castle for the right moment to run. "Where are you?" shouts Dr. Macabre. "Where are you?" And as quickly as the zombie was there, he was gone. The next day was like any other blue sky day in Romeroville. Romeroville School was full of the town's children as they went about attending their classes and learning. It was a good school full of good students, except for a few. And they were mean, they were cruel, and sometimes they threatened other students. They were bullies. A new student was being bullied. He was from another country, from another city, and from another school. Romeroville's super bully, Frankie Big, made it very hard for students who were very different from him. Today was no different. Frankie would call other students names or make fun of them. Most days, no one would stand up to the bully, except today was different. "Leave him alone, Frankie," said Zack Graves. Zack was a good kid who treated everyone with respect and kindness. Zack liked everyone. The only people Zack did not like were bullies. "What are you going to do about it, Graves?" growled Frankie Big. "It's more like what I've already done," answered Zack with a smile. He was not going to try and fight Frankie. He had done something even smarter. "I told the nearest teacher. They are on their way over here now," Zack said. Frankie Big had been in enough trouble, and one more incident would get him kicked out of school. "You win this time, Graves," the bully said, "but there's always after school." Frankie Big let the new student alone. As Zack helped the student get to class, Graves thought about the bully's threat. And that's an important point. You know, a lot of times we talk about what you can do about bullies or when you see bullying or are bullied. And one of the best things you can do is to tell a trusted adult. Don't necessarily try and get into a physical confrontation, but tell somebody, tell a teacher, tell a guidance counselor, tell somebody who can do the right thing and take the necessary steps. As school ended, Zack Graves began walking home. He took a shortcut past the town playground, which was not far from the road leading to the spooky crooked castle. Zack heard footsteps behind him. He turned to see it was Frankie Big and the other bully from earlier. "You shouldn't have helped that kid," Frankie said. "I don't like bullies," replied Zack. He sounded brave, but he was scared. "So who's going to help you, huh, Zack?" Frankie Big and his fellow bullies surrounded Zack Graves. Just as Zack prepared for the worst, suddenly something popped up behind the mean boys. It growled, it was green, and by the look and the smell, it was a zombie. And here's the worst zombie impression you guys will hear. "Ah!" growled the zombie. "Ah!" yelled the bullies as they turned and ran. "Ah!" screamed Zack, himself now terrified of the green monster in front of him. "Stay back!" But there was something about the creature. It had just saved him from the bullies, and there was something in its eyes. It was scared itself, and he knew it did not want to hurt him. The zombie had saved him from the bullies. Zack paused. Thank you? You saved me from Frankie Big. My name is Zack. What's your name? The green monster groaned. Okay, Graves replied. I'll call you Z for short. The zombie nodded his head. Somehow he and the boy understood each other. The two became quick friends. They played, and the zombie's head fell off. Zack helped him get it back on. They jumped, and the zombie's head fell off again. Zack helped him once more. While they played, the zombie noticed something that made him very upset. What is it? Zack asked. What's wrong, Z? The green monster pointed at the back of Zack's backpack. The Romeroville school logo was making the bug-eyed hero upset. It was the same logo the scientists trained the zombies to attack. What's wrong with my school? Zack asked. The answer was going on at the very moment. Zack Graves looked towards his school, and he could see what Z was pointing towards. Zombies were attacking the school. It's about time all the kids are in shock. Run! Shouted Dr. McCarb as his army of green-skinned zombies chased the students and staff of Romeroville School. Feel fear like you should, the mad scientist shouted. Be scared like you should be. He continued saying mean things to the students who ran afraid. He called them names and was not nice at all. His zombies did as he commanded, and they were all mean and terrible. Suddenly, the zombies stopped chasing and scaring people. Dr. McCarb moved through his unmoving army to see what could have made them pause. What? Impossible, shouted the mad scientist. He saw Zack Graves and the zombie standing up to the army. He saw his missing zombie leader now standing up against him. Stop this, whoever you are, Zack shouted. You should be scared, boy, Dr. McCarb yelled. This is not your problem. Zack answered the mad scientist the same way he answered Frankie Big. I don't like bullies. Z just groaned and agreed. Bullies? Bullies, Dr. McCarb said, stopping his army's attack. Did you call me a bully? You don't understand, boy. I was a student here when I was a boy. The doctor's eyes filled with tears. I was made fun of, I was picked on, I was bullied. And I promised I would come back and scare people like I was scared when I was here. Zack's voice was calm, but now you're here, being a bully. The mad scientist lowered his head. Oh my, what have I done? The zombie army stood still while their creator thought about his actions. Thank you, dear boy, for opening my eyes. I will change. I will take my army, my science, and do good. Come, my zombies, we have much to make up for. As the rest of his fellow green-skinned zombies began to leave, Z did not want to go. Zack looked at his newfound friend, and Z looked down at Zack. So what do you guys think? Do you think Z stays with Zack, or do you think he goes back with the scientist? Well, the not-so-mad scientist noticed the friendship between the two. Stay, my great zombie, he says. Stay and keep this good little boy safe. Do good. Be good. The zombie army and their scientists left. Zack Graves looked up with a giant smile at his green friend, and Z smiled a crooked zombie smile. The end. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the book, and if you like more content, you can go to www.hunterchad.com/Zack.